Hello everyone. Today I thought I'd do a gameplay video showing probably my favourite game of all time, Geometry Wars Retro Evolved 2. And I've been playing this game for just over a year now. I bought it when I originally got my Xbox, the day I got my Xbox, June last year, and it was really the only game I had at the time that I properly enjoyed. There were some alright ones, but this was my favourite game at the time. And the day I got it, I was in the middle of my exams, my GCSEs, but I loved it so much I decided that instead of revising I would just stay up until midnight playing this. So I probably got a little bit carried away at first, but I've died down now and I'm much more under control. But I just thought I'd show you how I get on and just show you what the game's all about, because it deserves as many sales as it can get. And just thought I'll just turn the music back on. Since it uses your gamer tag to save your high scores and then it has online leaderboards, I didn't really want to put my gamer tag online, so I just sign out and go into a guest profile. But I wanted to show you my high scores anyway, so I wrote them all out, and here they all are. The one I'm most proud of is pacifism, which is ridiculously high. Me and my brother have competitions with this, and I've managed to beat his high score. I think he had 100 million when I got that score, so I beat it by almost fivefold, so he was pretty annoyed. But I'll just run through the modes. There is, first off, Deadline, which is just 3 minutes of killing as many things as possible. And you have to collect the small green things that come out of any dead enemies. And if you look in the top middle left area, there's a number, and that is my multiplier. And every time I get a green thing, which is called a geon, then I get an extra multiplier, so I get more points. And that's the key to getting high scores, I think. Now I'll just have 3 minutes of fun here while you guys watch. And those black holes, they suck enemies in. If it gets too big like that, it explodes, and some ridiculously hard to avoid and kill enemies come out. And so you're basically dead, unless you can kill everyone quickly. I'm not sure how well the camera's picking this up, but this game is really colourful. I love the visuals on this, because it just looks so nice. And those big orange snakes, they're quite annoying because you can only kill them by shooting them in the head. So often they'll curl around and their head won't be showing, so you can't actually kill them. And they're often the source of my demise. Not doing terribly well here. Don't think I'll get anywhere near my high score. The green ones can be quite annoying because they avoid your fire. So even if you shoot at them, then they just dodge out the way. There are 6 million. I'll just recap my high score is 18.5 million almost. I'll show you the next mode, King. Now this is one of my least favourite modes, what it is you can only shoot while you're inside the zones, and the enemies can't enter the zones. But as you saw, they eventually time out. And I don't like it because it's really hard to get geoms, and it's really hard to get high scores. And it starts off like this, which is really slow paced and pretty much just really easy. It's not that hard at all. But in a minute you get more of them, then it gets a bit overcrowded, and then snakes start coming and they block you off to your next zone. And then to make it even harder, some of the ridiculous enemies that come out of the black holes, they start coming, and so they're just bumbling around everywhere, making it ridiculously hard. You've got to try and collect as many gems as possible, or you will not get a high score. And in this one, it's a good idea to try and clear a path to your next zone before you get there. And here come the snakes. As you can see, it went from ridiculously easy to ridiculously hard in just a few seconds. And now I just can't get any gems. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to the next zone. No, I can't. There we are. So yeah, my high score for that one isn't much higher. It's only just over 5 million. Evolved. Now this is the pretty much the basic mode. And this was in the previous Geometry Wars Retro Evolved, and it's just, you go around, you've got 3 lives and 3 bombs. Bombs something I haven't showed you yet. I got them in Deadline, I just didn't get around to using them. But they clear off the entire screen of enemies, well, unless that's another story. But they clear the screen of enemies, and you get all the geoms for them, but none of the points. So it's basically, just if you're about to die, then it's a way of getting out. There's no time limit on this, just your life limit. In Deadline, you didn't have a life limit, just a time limit. But if you died, the game punished you, because it seems that the more enemies and the faster you kill the enemies, the more enemies appear. So you've got to try and kill them all as quickly as possible to try and make more come, and that way more of them will come when they do come. And that way higher scores are possible. And that's especially necessary in Deadline. And I like with these green ones to pin them against the wall and take them off one by one. Every 10,000 points, not every 10,000, every power of 10 starting at 100,000 points, you get a new life and a new bomb. So obviously 100,000 points, 1 million points, 10 million points, and so on. These are gates, and they bounce off any bullets that hit them. And if you run through the middle of them, the white bit, then they explode. They don't kill you, they kill all the enemies around you. And this game controls, probably as you'd expect it, which uses the left stick for moving your person, or your spaceship, and the right stick for directing your fire. See, those snakes are impossible to kill. Oh, bug. Ugh, that's stupid. the bomb there because I'm going to die. If there are too many enemies on the screen, for some reason the bomb just doesn't take them all out. And now I need to not die. Oh, never mind. So yes, that's quite a pathetic score since my high score is 55 million. Next up is my favourite mode, which is pacifism, in which you aren't able to shoot, you can only run around. And you have to use the gates to kill the enemies, and the only enemies that come are the blue ones, there are no others. So you just run around exploding gates, trying to collect as many gems as possible, and herding these blue ones like sheep. And it can get ridiculous at sometimes, running through ridiculously tiny gaps, getting a ridiculously large amount of gems, making your way through ridiculously complex mazes. Because if you hit the ends, the orange bits, the gates, then you die. Because that's not safe. Oh. And going to the corners is dangerous because they like to spawn on you. You see, you can get ridiculously large amounts of enemies and kill them, and then they drop ridiculously large amounts of gems. So yes, that's 29 million, and my high score is 492 million. Next up is waves. This is probably my second least favourite, because all that happens is these orange aeroplane type things just spawn, and you just have to kill them off. And lots of them spawn, and it's fairly simple. And then just to spice it up a bit, they throw in the odd random enemy. You see, like some of them, and it's really hard. And then a snake will come soon, but I didn't make it that long. And it's not very fun. It's really hard, and I haven't bothered going any higher than 3 million on it.